Dear YouTube, Dark Assassin here bringing you another video. The game's up early and pretty of the Beyond Two Souls. I'm definitely getting that day one. Just gonna read a little bit of the articles and some news about Beyond Two Souls. So some detail. So bear with me. The game, the platform is gonna be on this PS3. You know that. The style is one-player action and adventure. The publisher is Sony Entertainment. The developer is Quantum Dream. The release is October 8th. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit of the article. Not gonna read all of this, a little bit, and then give you my thoughts, and then we'll see where we go from there. So it says, sitting in the SAV Theater in New York City's Tribeca neighborhood, I wasn't quite sure what to expect from a screening on Beyond Two Souls. Quantum Dream's latest is only the second video game to grace the festival, found by Tribeca native Robert De Niro, the first Eleanor from Rockstar and Team Bonnie, and I was skeptical that the impact of the natural experience will retain its weight in a passive setting. I think about the medium not only as a story and an action, but also in terms of player agency and avatar manipulation. The former could certainly come across, but how the director David Cage conveyed the tactical sensation of moving Ellen Page's digital personality through her environment. Watching 35 minutes of Beyond Two Souls wasn't identical to playing a video game, but as someone versed in the language of the medium, it wasn't a completely disconnected experience either. From a mechanical perspective, it was unclear how Jodie Holmes, on the run from the authorities and forced to live on the streets, was connected to the controller guiding her movements. However, the game, underneath the stunning visual display and superb theoretical performances, was not entirely obscured. A significant aspect of the project is Jodie's interaction with a disembodied otherworld guardian named Ada. Through the specific mechanics of this did not surface. Moving between Jodie and her spectrum combination appeared to be fluid. As if the two are not completely distinct beings. It's either a physical bond that prevents the entity from moving too far away from his change, connects to the pair, much like a powerless through cage was locked and can disrupt the environment, opening doors and survey dangerous situations. He also seemed keyed in the game's brutal fisticuffs. Jodie is a former CIA operative and trained hard to hand-to-hand combat. In the sequence we were shown, she is forced to apply skills in the name of survival. As such, the damage she inflicts is moving, more realistic, graphic, and jarring than the featured in many other games intended for an adult audience. When I spoke to David Cage after the screening, I asked him about the feelings and the violence. Yesterday, his wrist spoke out against the most furious bloodshed. He says, I am fine with the violence as long as it comes with a meaning, he told me. If it means something, if it allows you to tell something about the character or create a specific emotional state, I'm fine with that. In fact, violence plays a central role in the scene where we were shown. It is a woman throughout Jodie's bot tries to end her own life as she brutally fights off a pack of vicious predators, and she closes her eyes for the one last time. The sequence concludes, and for us, the lights come up in the theater. The bloodshed and physical strife are not everything. There are moments of innocent tendencies as Jodie is welcomed into a small group of Indians who offer what little they have, showing that true humanity and kindness does not come from wealth or power. So I was reading some what the developers of Beyond Two Souls were saying in some of the articles and some of the news about it. So here it is, by the way, Game Informer. So I'm gonna put my 2 cents in it. Shall I? I feel like, this is the last PS3 exclusive. This is the last exclusive being made on the current gen, and I feel like, there's been no sign. There's no sign of any multiplayer. And the problem is, I've said in a past video before, I said that, I feel like the game should not be 60 bones, because when I think about the exclusives, even like, Sly Cooper Decent Time, that was 40 bucks. So I feel like this game should be no more than 40 bucks in my estimation. Even though the story sounds like it's going to be good, I'm not, doubting that. But the way games are being made, just single player wise, are either too short or just too easy. When I think about games, last gen, like, the Jack and Dexter series, the Sly Cooper series, the Ratchet and Clank series, and how those games jumped over to this current gen right now, especially like, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, which was a great game, but the whole problem was the game was just too easy. So I feel like, since this is the last exclusive, I feel like this game should have some type of multiplayer or something behind it. And to me, that would make it more worthy to pay $60 for. Even though I'm going to get it day one, I still feel like, the game should not be 60 bones. Just because it's only single player. And what happens if the game's it can only be 4 or 5 hours, and then we get upset. And then it's a role-playing game. It's like it's movieized in some sort, whereas, you're kind of, playing along in a role where you're doing what they want you to do, and it's not an open world based game. So I feel like, okay, well, if it's not open world based and it doesn't have any multiplayer, why should it be $60? See what I'm saying? That's the point. And I feel like developers, deceive us a lot. Even like, for example, what Bethesda with Wolfenstein New Order. I'm not getting that day one because there's no multiplayer. It's no telling. They're trying to focus more on the single player aspect of Wolfenstein because I guess they're tired of the same old casual multiplayer that are put behind these first person shooters or in just games in general. But still, I feel like, when you have a multiplayer, it makes more grounding. It makes your game last longer to me. And I feel like, when you beat a single player of a game 3 or 4 times, or if it has that much replay value, once you beat it, that once or 2 times, you're going to want to go to the multiplayer. And if there's no multiplayer, you feel like you just wasted money on crap, And I, totally agree with that. I feel like every game should practically have a multiplayer behind it. There's only a few games, even this gen that I actually play for the single player, or would just play it without a multiplayer. Even upcoming games such as like Batman Origins, that's a game that I really didn't care about them announcing the multiplayer for, because even though the developer switched over and Warner Brothers has it, I still feel like, it's been a great series throughout, just single player wise, as that saying, So I'm just saying that I feel like, Beyond Two Souls didn't have any multiplayer behind it. It's not open world based. So what really makes this game 60 bones? This is what I want to leave with you guys. I want you to leave in your comments. What do you think really gonna make this game 60 bones? Because I feel like, even though I don't care how great the story is, if the hours of the gameplay is short, then I'm gonna be upset and, be really ticked off, because after this is Batman Origins, and I mean I'm going next gen after that. But I still feel like, the way single player games are going in the direction where, they still have their select few games that are focused on the single player aspect, but either they're too easy or just too short. So I mean, even on the hardest difficulty, a lot of these games are not hitting on nothing. Take GTA 5 for example. Hold up, guys. Because I know you guys always want to see proof. I've been putting up gameplay of it as well. Even like, GTA 5, right here. There's some missions in this game that either just seem too easy or just generic. So, I mean, not saying it's not a good game, but still, the games that were based, that you were planning on buying just for the single player of it, either just too easy or just generic. So, we've seen games that this gen, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some next gen as well. So, leave me your comments. This is the Beyond Two Souls discussion. I'm out of here. Got it pre-ordered. We'll have it day one. I'm out. Peace.